Good day, guys. My name is Rahul, and today we're going to speak about sales for OGV, particularly for students. So, when you're selling a product to any person, it's about the kind of value proposition that you are providing them after listening to the customer, which is the first touch point, because you have to know who your customer is before you can actually sell it to them, right? And that is the first touch point, and we'll be particularly looking about it in terms of OGV in the student market that we have in India. So if you basically classify the students in types of what they're really interested in terms of the priority, for one person or for a group of students, it might be the volunteering aspect of the value proposition that is really interesting them, or career, or certification, or travel, or exposure. So the volunteer part comes when I don't really care about how I can show my certificates in a placement interview, or probably it will help me get a job after 4 years of engineering, or after 4 years of any field of study, right? So that is one part, and the kind of terms that you use in the pitch will be personalized to the person who really wants to go volunteer there. Basically, I can go and speak about how I can change the society, being a 19-year-old myself, being an Indian ambassador, going to a different country and representing India, and also working with people across 20 different nationalities, and also learning. For example, if I was a person who was interested in volunteering and society and culture, I would be a person who would be very inquisitive about the fact that I want to work with a Chinese intern over there, where our economic policies and the state of economy was the same in 1980s and 1990s. But today, China has gone way ahead of us, and still we call ourselves the fastest growing economy, right? So I would want to learn what is the mindset of a Chinese youth, which is making them accustomed to the economy which they are running today, right? So all these interesting aspects come into play when it comes to volunteering. And the second thing comes about career. Career is simple. The fact about volunteering, or the whole concept of going on an exchange, can help you place a job in an interview if you can sell it properly to the interviewer, or actually find a place in one of the Ivy League schools, or one of the best business schools in the world, or one of the best GRE schools in the world. So that is the aspect of career where you can actually use the value propositions. So to understand all of these, first, what is it that you have to understand in order to maximize the kind of numbers that you can get in 1 year of doing OGV, or as a member, how do I get the maximum number of raises or approvals or customers for that matter? First is to understand your target customers. So if I come from a college, which is a university having 20,000 students and having a motley of students studying different fields, a medicine, an engineering, a business, a dental, or something like that. So what is it that is running me not to 20,000 students, because it is my human incapability to reach out to 20,000 students at once, and therefore I have to choose my target market and go on and actually look into it for getting the maximum amount of output from it, right? So for example, if we talk about volunteering projects in OGV, for that matter, the most amount of projects come under education, and then the other ones come under going to an orphanage and working, which is basically humanities, right? So how do you go to an MBA student or a business student and speak to him about going on an education project? Instead, probably that is why you should go to an engineering school and not an MBA student. But then one interesting aspect that you should think about is that our level of customers that we have had for ISEC India comes from every stream, be it medical, be it engineering, be it business. As a bottom line, it is basically to understand what kind of a customer should I be catering to, depending on the kind of supply that I have in terms of opportunities. So supply and demand is very important over here. And that comes to our third topic before I move into timelines, is basically the convincing or negotiation skills. For example, if a person comes to me and asks me, everyone in India, or everyone in the world for that matter, wants to go to an exotic country, probably, or an exotic region like Europe. So how are you basically making sure that you know that most of your supply is coming from a region like Asia or Africa or Middle East, right? How do you make sure that even that is being fulfilled or satisfied? It is basically to understand the fact that how good are my convincing skills, and please beware of this, that it is convincing, not manipulating or brainwashing a customer of yours in order to take something wrong out of their expectation settings. You are just stating the truth and convincing them to go on a particular exchange which would be beneficial to them once we have listened to the customer, which is the first rule of sales. Listen to your customer, understand what they will be good at, because you are the product champion for your product, right? You know it better than anyone else does. So therefore, give an informed choice to your customer, and the customer will make his or her own choice, right? So coming to that, like convincing or negotiation skills. What if I tell you a scenario where I want to go to Europe, and you come and tell me that you can go to Europe, which will probably find projects in one of the countries like Poland or Romania or Greece or whatever. You will take around 1 week to apply. They will take around 10 days to get back to you, and then you will have your interview and another 1 week of selection process, and then another 1 week of you procuring the documents you want for visa, and then another 3 weeks of you getting visa, and then you basically going out there and going on an exchange. The whole process here is 6 weeks, right? What if I tell you that this is an education project, but I'll find you another project which is related to what you study, because you study BBA, Business Administration. So what if I tell you I can find a project in MOC which is related to entrepreneurship or startup or something like that, where you can actually pursue what you are actually studying and go to a country like China, where the visa process and the selection process would take you less than 2 weeks. So this is basically me telling my customer that this is what you can take if you want it, and therefore make your life easier in terms of going on an exchange, because at the end of the day we are all 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old, not having the power to talk to the embassy in any sense in order to fasten the process, right? So that is the convincing skills as to learning to know what you have and what you don't have. And basically, when we talk about convincing and negotiation skills, you have to be informed about your product, which is basically what projects are there at what particular point of time, what kind of opportunities would suit what kind of a target customer market, right? And therefore, it is very important to understand your timelines. So none of this, we're talking about how you speak and communication and all that, but we're basically speaking about the fact that having information about these different blocks in your head before you actually go out and sell it, that basically makes you an informed salesman, so that the person is like, I want to buy this product immediately, because all it takes is 7 to 8 minutes for you to convince a person to go on an exchange. And then comes the aspect of parents, aspect of money and all that, which we have to take care of, right? So timelines. So basically understand this, that let's say a summer cycle. Quarter 1, January, February, March. Quarter 2, April, May and June. So basically, which is the best time to match with a region like Europe or Americas? It's basically January, February and March, because we know that it takes around 1.5 months to get visa elsewhere, visa to these regions. But then so what do you have to do? You have to pull back timelines and push the European and the American countries to put up their projects on system, maybe only for India or only for your particular LC, maybe only for your 5 EPs that you have back home. So you have to pull back the timelines and tell them to put it up and match them immediately, so that the visa can be processed and the customer experience is seamless. Whereas when you can go into April, May and June, you can rely on countries like Egypt or Russia or all the other Asian countries, where you know that it won't take more than a week to get your visa. So that is the whole aspect of how you are capitalizing, while still the Asian countries and Egypt and everyone keep on bugging you saying, do you have EPs to match, do you have EPs to match? So your sales pitch should be changing from quarter 1 to quarter 2. The way, if you're a vice president, the way you're training your members in order to change the pitch from quarter 1 to quarter 2 after thorough analysis of what projects are there at what timeline is really, really important, right? So I believe you understand this as to how you can plan which country to match to. Believe me, everything is in your hands. As long as I'm able to pitch, let's say, Egypt over Russia, I will. As long as I'm able to pitch Sri Lanka over a country like USA, I can. And that depends on my sales skills and my power of how I'm negotiating with people, right? And all this comes down to, like you must have noticed the arrows, so all this comes down to the pitch, right? And the pitch is not one way of doing it. The pitch changes from person to person and time to time, and that is why your pitch depends on the kind of person. By listening to the person as to what is he or she interested in the most. The pitch depends on the kind of target customer I'm tapping into. If I'm tapping into business, I'll use a different pitch. If I'm tapping into engineering, I'll use a different pitch. My pitch also depends on whether I'm pitching in quarter 1 or quarter 2 or quarter 3 or quarter 4. My pitch also depends on my knowledge of the kind of opportunities present and ability to convince the other person stating that, this might be a better project only for you. So this is basically the understanding of how you can go about sales. These are the prerequisites, and this is the end product of which will get you that one sale. Thank you.